The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello and welcome to today's special training class, How to Scale to Six Figures and Beyond in Less Than 90 Days with this simple insurance prospect process flow. I'll be your coach today. Jeremiah Demery is my name. I just want to do a quick sound check just to make sure. I was on another training call earlier this week and I started talking and nobody heard me. So I want to make sure that you can hear me. So go ahead in the question box, please put the word yes or I can hear you. So I know that we're all set to go. Okay, great. Forrest, Hiram, Cheryl, Peter, Stephen. Stephen says the volume's low. Stephen, check the volume on your computer side. Maybe it's on your end. I'm speaking directly into the mic here. Everyone else says, Aaron, you hear me just fine. Good. Okay, volume is perfect, says Forrest. Okay, beautiful. Okay, guys. Well, really excited to have you all here today. Well, more and more frequently, if you listen carefully, you hear of agents and advisors doing incredible things that we used to think were impossible, right? Advisors are switching from doing seminars in person to one-on-one screen sharing webinars. Young agents are coming out of nowhere, growing multi-million-dollar agencies in a few years using nothing but the internet. LinkedIn has grown to be one of the hubs for the highest net prospects you can find. And Facebook is turning into a real hunting ground for prospects for pennies on the dollar. The purpose of the training class today is to give you the strategic steps, which is really the collection of my 15 years worth of work, the thinking patterns, the strategies, and yes, you will be getting some tactics today to help you make the shift from wherever you are today to a 6 and possibly 7-figure agency and having those systems in place in 90 days. Now, I do want to start off with a hard truth. In 12 months from now, you're probably not going to be, making 7 figures, but you don't have to be a cash millionaire to have an amazing life. What you do need, though, is to have a sustainable, scalable, and a predictable practice. And the reason for that is that every 7-figure advisor I've ever had the privilege of coaching knows that it's about two things: freedom and lifestyle. And if you're feeling stuck in your 5 or your 6-figure business and you're ready to focus on growing to a 7-figure one, then you're definitely at the right training today. And of course, I do want to congratulate you because what we're going to cover today in today's class is probably going to help you know about 90% more, 98% more than what other insurance agents and financial advisors know in their business. And just do me a quick favor. Would you let me know in the question box right now, what is your primary product that you sell in your industry? So go ahead and let me know whether that's long-term care, life insurance, IULs, retirement planning, AUM. Just let me know because I'd like to be able to really speak to you related to those terms. Okay, so we've got Forrest, John, Brian, Richard, all IULs. Cheryl's in annuities, Hiram's in life. Okay, we've got Peter's doing in health, Paul's doing life and Medicare. Annuities, very good. Frank, you just started based on 2017, you say life insurance. Okay, so definitely a lot of life and annuity folks that are here with us, which is perfect because that's what's been my world of experience in terms of empowering agents. So I'm here to tell you today that you really can build a scalable, qualified lead generation funnel that brings you pre-indoctrinated, ready to talk to prospects to your calendar daily without having to chase people down or learn a bunch of technical stuff. In fact, most of my clients run their businesses using 3 main tools is all it takes for a really effective digital marketing suite. Now, just so you know, the training I'm going to give you today is a training that I took out of one of my other courses that we have in our platform. And I typically train around digital strategies to help insurance agents and financial advisors build scalable businesses. I have a program that's Email Marketing Mastery, another one on how to build an $80,000 a month marketing funnel, another one on LinkedIn power selling, another one that teaches you sales scripts, yet another that talks about predictable referrals that you can digitize Facebook marketing. And if you stick around to the end of our class today, I am going to give you an opportunity where you can grab those for basically free. But stick around to the end. We're going to jump into the details now. Just a couple of minutes of housekeeping here. First, shut down all distractions around you. A recent article in the Wall Street Journal said, and I quote, multitasking makes you stupider. This whole hype of multitasking and how you get so much done, actually when they did university studies on it, shows that you actually get less done and you remember a lot less. I do want you to feel free, folks, to ask me questions at any time. I'm very happy to do that. And of course, I invite you to play full out. I want to commend you because this is a really responsive crowd that is here today. And it's exciting to see all of you play full out by commenting. And really, the reason I get you to do that is not really for me. I'm going to teach you regardless of whether you type anything or not. But it has to do with Ivy League studies that show that the more you engage, even if it's just, saying yes or go for it or I love this or whatever, it helps grow your memory retention and your brain power by 40%. So if you have done any studying on plasticizing the brain, getting your brain to work, even though you might be, over 40, 50, 60, 70 years of age, these are great tools to help you do that. Plus, it's just more fun, right? And we need more of that in our life. So if you're taking notes, I'm going to introduce you to my core concept right now to help you build that scalable business using qualified prospects. And I'm going to do that using a visual tool called my Qualified Prospect Parthenon. The Parthenon is an incredible structure that thousands of years later continues to stand because it was built on a foundation of pillars. And those pillars held up tons of weight, which allowed it to continue to exist for millennia. Well, the same thing applies in building a business that will stand the test of time and market corrections and changes and clients leaving you. The ultimate goal, I believe most people come to one of my classes is because they want to learn how to generate high quality prospects that are also high converting leads. And the reason why we want those leads, and I'm guessing the reason behind that, is that you're looking for more wealth, time freedom, or more abundance in some form in your life, right? Whether that's time abundance, financial abundance, abundance to give, abundance to serve. So in order to do that, you need 6 pillars. So the first pillar, if you're taking notes, is reciprocity. And I'll go through them fast right now, and then we'll slow down, and I'm going to give you tons of examples and swipe files and things that you can copy and paste so you can see how it works. The second pillar is lead generation, followed by metrics, then authority, profit funnels, and then scaling. Don't worry if any of these concepts sound a little foreign to you. I'm going to spend time to walk you through each one. A little bit about myself. This is a slide of my best friend in the world and my wife here. Her name is Anais. I met her in my parents' kitchen and fell in love with her instantly. Didn't have the courage until 5 years later to ask her to marry me. And guess what? She had felt the same way all along, but we had never said anything. Since we've been married now for almost 9 years, we have spent most of our time and finances funding projects all over the world where we give back to the local community. We do a lot of volunteer work. We've been in the Andes for 2 years working with victims of abuse, victims of alcoholism, the elderly. We've lived on the south side of Chicago where there's a lot of gang violence, a lot of unwanted pregnancies. Children grow up without a lot of guidance. And probably one of the stories I love the most is this guy here, Richard, who when we met him was not only a drug dealer, but a drug addict. And frankly, I got to say, it took a lot of courage to try to help a man like that living in a really rough area, especially being a white guy. There was no other white guys in like a 5-mile radius, and we lived there. And so proud of him. Fast forward 3 years later, he's not only cleaned up his life, he's got a wonderful, happy family that's united, and he's back on the street to not do any sales, but actually try to go and help the people who used to sell drugs to and hustle to find a better way of life. And that just really is what my passion is in life. If some of you have been following my career, you know that I've been getting a lot of, I guess, mentions in the media recently. I was part of a small startup about 15 years ago that became the #1 generator of leads in the country. Went on to do hundreds of millions of dollars in sales. I was employee #6 there, and I was responsible for helping them grow through marketing. And then in the past 3 years, I've been dedicating my life to sharing those success strategies with people in the insurance and financial services world. I was privileged enough to give a TED talk about the concept of marketing and how it's changed my life. I frequently keynote here. You can see me with Kevin Harrington, the original shark from Shark Tank, where we're doing a special relationship to bring advanced training to the industry, which we'll talk more about in the future. Jay Abraham, one of my mentors, invited me to speak to rooms full of people who've paid, anywhere from $10,000 to $60,000 a person to be there to share what I've learned. And I've been incredibly humbled and incredibly blessed in my life to do that. And so that's just a little bit about my background. And before you invest an hour with me today, I wanted you to know about my background so that you know that I'm coming from a place of experience when I share these pillars with you. I promise that'll be the last slide about me. Okay. All right. Pillar #1, we talked about goodwill. Dr. Robert Cialdini, who's author of the landmark book Influence, says that humans aim to treat others as they're treated, meaning that we have an innate instinct for returning favors and paying back debts. And you think of an example of this, right? You know somebody in your life who is so kind, so giving, has such a sense of contribution. And have you ever noticed how you feel after somebody gives you a lot and you haven't given anything back? How do you feel about that? But I'd love to see what you think in the question box right there. When somebody gives you a lot and you don't give anything back, how do you feel towards that person who's given you a lot? JD says guilty. Yeah, we do. We feel kind of guilty, right? Isn't that amazing? Richard says the same thing. Paul says, I feel like I'm in their debt. Yeah, Jeffrey, I owe them, right? Nicole, I feel indebted. Ruben, I feel indebted. Strange, says Forrest. Conflicted, says Frank. Yeah, great word choice, everybody. Yeah, that's exactly what happens, right? And that's something we are wired to feel inside our minds. So this is called the theory of reciprocity. It's like if somebody is giving, 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 at some point you're like, no, no, stop, 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 stop. I got to give back to you. Wait, just wait. That's the theory of reciprocity. And all of my most successful campaigns in the insurance and financial services world all were built, when I went back and I studied them all, they all had a foundation of reciprocity, which is really not something you hear a lot about in our industry, really, because frankly, it's all about grab a referral, buy these leads. It's kind of a me, 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 me with the agent at the middle. What I hope to help you to embrace is my giving formula, which I encourage you to write down, is when you're in a sales situation or you're in a lead generation situation or you're trying to educate prospects to do business with somebody, not yourself, there's 4 things you must do. #1 is to give first. Give first. This is actually what I talked about in my TED Talk. This is my formula. Step #2 is give more. Don't just stop with one interaction of giving. Keep giving to people. Step #3, you probably guessed it, is give again. And only once you've established 3 moments of giving, 3 high value interactions of giving, do you then go for step 4, which is asking for the sale or asking for the appointment or asking for the call. If this is all you remember today, this alone can transform the way you interact with people on LinkedIn, the way you interact with people on Facebook, the way you interact with people in email. I have a client out of New York who decided to take this concept, and in my private clients that I worked with, I teach them a goodwill methodology where we give 3 valuable pieces of content before we even ask for an appointment. And within 45 days, he was meeting with 1 new super affluent person every week. Most advisors will be happy with that twice a year. That would make their nut. They'd be six-figure commission earners. He was doing that every week. Why? Because no matter how much you make, no matter where you come from, no matter your station in life, we all respond to genuine giving. Let me give you a few examples on how you can build goodwill and get qualified leads in the process. Number one, helpful guides that reveal the way forward. I'll give you an example of a really good one in just a second. Insider content like FAQs, cheat sheets, how-to guides, right? Notice a lot of you here are selling annuities. How about a simple guide? You know, the top 5 questions to ask before you buy an annuity. I bet that you could both ask and answer those questions right on the spot, right? Because you do it all the time. Well, the simple thing is you can dictate it, upload it to a site like Temi, TEMI.com, and for 10 cents a minute, it'll transcribe the whole thing, and boom, you've got your guide. They even have a cool app you can download to your phone. You can make short, helpful videos that make complex things really, really simple. There's so many wonderful stories in the insurance sales archives, right? Stories you can use to help explain complex ideas. You could use explainer videos. You can get them done on Fiverr for anywhere from $5 to $50. Short little videos using animation that help a complex idea make a lot of sense. And on-demand webinars, right? This is a huge trend in the industry. If you haven't seen this yet, we are testing some really cool stuff with our private members now where they're hosting webinars where they're not even on live. It feels like a live experience, but it's not. This is a live webinar, by the way, in case you're wondering. But the person is getting educated 24 hours a day. The sales presentation is running, and then people who go through that presentation are able to opt in to book an appointment. Here's a great example of a front end of something that adds value, right? Fisher Investments, arguably one of the most aggressive financial marketers on the planet today. Simple headline: avoid running out of money when you need it the most. Learn how in this 15-minute retirement plan, right? What a great giveaway. I love the name of it because it tells you exactly what it is in the name, the 15-minute retirement plan. You could change it, be the 15-minute annuity guide, the 15-minute life insurance guide, the 15-minute home and auto guide, right? You can take these ideas and modify them for yourself. All right, now that we've discussed reciprocity, the process of giving guides, helpful videos, even audio files, checklists, cheat sheets, we want to get into the second pillar. If you get the idea of reciprocity, you're ready to move on to lead generation. Here's what I've noticed in my 15 years of having helped over 100,000 advisors generate over 2 million leads now. The best and highest qualified leads all have one thing in common. The person has already been indoctrinated to speak to the one who is guiding them. I'm going to repeat that. The prospect has already been indoctrinated to speak to the one who is guiding them. Consumers today are more self-directed than ever before and have access to more information than ever before. So you need to be seen as that trusted voice. But the consumer market today is also quite segmented. Millennials and boomers have totally different buying behavior. And it's important to be able to reach your leads in a way that resonates with them. So let me give an example of a simple lead generation funnel. This is what I call the private funnel, where you would take leads that were generated from LinkedIn, Facebook perhaps. I'll use my spotlight here. You could post articles on LinkedIn, put posts up on Facebook. You could buy ads. You could send people who never bought from you an email, or you can also buy traffic from AdWords. I'm going to give you guys a really great case study and some cool metrics a little later around AdWords from one of our members. And then the traffic all goes to a simple landing page, which I'll show you later. And then from there, they put in their basic contact information, and that drops into a mailing list or a CRM system where the emails continue to drive value. So remember reciprocity, right? They opt in, the thank you page gives them the lead magnet, And then the emails continue to reinforce value, perhaps by offering a snippet of the guide if they didn't read it. The second one could be a short video where you talk about something in the guide. The third one could be a testimonial on an action that somebody took. If you can't use testimonials in your industry, give them more advice that's compliant. All of these things can be done in a compliant way. And if somebody tells you it can't, it's because they haven't tried hard enough and they basically gave up before they started. I have people who are with the most aggressive broker dealers that have the most incredible funnels set up because they were willing to just fight the fight. Just get out there and get it done. And basically, compliance departments now realize that they can't block people from doing things on certain sites anymore. So it's really encouraging to see the tide turning for a positive way. Another method of lead generation is purchase leads. I'm just curious, has anybody on this call ever bought a lead before in their industry? Go ahead and give me a yes in the question box if you have. JD's bought leads. Jeffrey has, Peter, Jim. Sadly, says Cheryl. John, James. Steve did and not fruitful. Okay. All right, really glad to see the feedback here. Brian, you bought them from live transfers. So see if you're paying attention here. What is the difference between buying a lead and generating your own that violates one of my core principles? I talked about it in 2 slides ago. Anybody remember? What do the highest converting leads all have in common? Jeffrey says no indoctrination. Good, good. Guiding them, says Aaron. Yes. I'm ready to talk to, yeah, okay, there you go. Paul, you got it. Cheryl, you also said it too. Ready to talk to you, or it's not personal or authority, right? The reason why a lot of people don't succeed with leads is because they're generated off a generic website and they don't know who you are. So what do you do in the first 10 minutes of the call? You're trying to sell them on how amazing you are, but who wants to hear that, right? There's no reciprocity. It's really a sales presentation. So it's really, really hard, but you can succeed at it. I'm going to show you guys some techniques you can use. As you know, a lot of these vendors just give you immediate leads and then, tools to manage them. Life leads can be anywhere from $20 to $40, even more if you want them transferred or, hyper exclusive. Annuity leads can be much more, anywhere from $100 to $400. IULs can be, anywhere from $300 to $700 for preset appointments done over the phone. But here's the thing, even if you don't have indoctrination before, you can develop indoctrination after. And here is the results of a study that was done on over 2 million leads generated, a lot of them in the insurance and financial industries, on the ultimate contact strategy. So if you're buying leads right now, let me help you increase your contact ratio by 128%. In your first day, you should make the call within 1 minute. That'll increase it alone, the chances of you getting them on the phone, by over 100%. In the next 20 to 30 minutes, you should email them. 30 to 60 minutes later, you make your second call, and 60 minutes to 120 minutes later, you make your third. After day 1, do not contact them for another 3 days. Remember, a lot of times consumers put their information on multiple websites. So what happens is between day 1 and 3, they get absolutely hammered. A lot of them get discouraged and give up, or they go into hiding. That's why day 4, you don't call, but you send an email. Day 5, you call. Day 8, you wait some time, you send them another email. Day 14, you give them a call. Day 15, you call and email. And then day 22, you send them an email. Now, what would be the results of this? Well, in the study that they did, there was a 49% gain in conversion making the calls at the recommended times. 53% gain by sending emails at the recommended times, for a result in net conversion improvement of 128%. Very, very valuable stuff. So again, knowing where that is in your cycle will help you maximize your lead generation efforts. Very good. So we talked about reciprocity. We have to be giving. We talked about lead generation, whether you're generating them your own in a funnel or you're buying them. The next pillar is metrics. And you'll be surprised at some of the important things that we're going to talk about here, especially those of you who said not fruitful. Please lean in and pay attention. If you plan to be successful and build a scalable business in the next 90 days, you must stop thinking in terms of how much does a lead cost. You need to get that out of your vocabulary, because CPL, or cost per lead, is the poor advisor's way of looking at the world. Start thinking in terms of client lifetime value, CLV. Write that down, client lifetime value. If you're only thinking of cost per lead, you're limiting the way you grow your business. Also, more often than not, most lead opportunities look like failures. You'll never pursue them, you'll never take risks, and you will stay small. Probably one of the reasons why you made it to this call today is you haven't found success. You have not been able to build a scalable business that you control your time, that you know predictably what money is going to come in. And I'm willing to bet if I sat down with you one-on-one and I asked you these questions, you would say that you've been having a CPL type of thinking as opposed to a CLV type of thinking. I know one agent who had a breakthrough when he calculated his CLV. He took over his market in under 6 months, beating out his competitors who were stuck in CPL thinking. Let me tell you this, if you get and understand client lifetime value, you could literally go in like a whale in any industry and take over the game. Within 6 months, you would be the dominant player, because while everybody is scrambling around on cost per lead, you're there thinking about CLV. Now, here's what CLV is and how you calculate it. So if you've never done this before, this will be a helpful exercise, and I'd love to see your numbers. So grab out your calculators, because this will be a good exercise for you to do right now. So what you do to calculate the CLV is you take the average annual commission per deal. And if you want to be more aggressive, you can, but that's fine. Let's just stick with that. So let's say the average, I'll give you an example. So you take the average annual commission per deal times the average amount of time a customer stays with you, minus the amount of time, the amount of money you spent to acquire that customer. And that's your lifetime customer value. So let me give you an example. So for example, let's say I closed an annuity, $5,000 earned over 5 years. It cost me $500 to generate that lead. So my client lifetime value is $4,500. You understand that? So who did the calculation real quick and wants to share the client lifetime value? So if you want, just take the total commission you earn over the life of that client and then subtract how much it costs you to generate. Anyone want to throw a number out there? You're probably still working on your calculators. Okay, I'll let you work on that. But okay, we got Peter here who's got a $900. All right, first in line, first to dine, right, Peter? So you got a $900 client lifetime value. So question to you, Peter. Knowing that you'd make $900 on every sale, how much are you willing to spend to generate that $900? Just go ahead and put that in there, whatever you feel comfortable with. Oh, he said $50. Okay. So Peter, thank you so much for playing full out. Interesting how Peter has put a limit to his $900, right? Peter says, "I will refuse to pay," and I'm being a little hyperbolic here, but just to make a point. And I don't know Peter, by the way, so we're all friends here. But Peter's basically saying, "I won't pay more than $50 to make $900." Now, if I come into Peter's market, in his industry, in his geography, and I say, I'm willing to pay $100, what's going to happen to Peter's lead volume? It's going to dry up, right? Because I'm willing to pay $100 to make 900. For me, that's a 9x ROI. Find me another business out there where I can put $1 in and I make $9 like clockwork every single day. Do you see how somebody who understands CLV thinking can go in and dominate an industry? There's guys I know who will pay up to 50% of the CLV, meaning, hey, look, if I can pay $400 or $450 to make 900, I'm totally fine because I know I'm doubling my money on every sale. Interesting, right? So take this away for today. A smart advisor who has made the shift can say, I'm going to make $5,000 over the course of this customer's time with me. So based on my other expenses, I'm comfortable spending $1,000 to acquire his business. So I might do some wild things. I might incorporate digital with snail mail. I might send bulky mail. I might send a shock and awe package. You know, the advisor, I might get a book written for $20,000, knowing that it's going to get me 10 clients that will each bring me $10,000 in revenue. I put 20 grand in, but I made 100. I'm clean at 80 grand. The poor advisors thinking things like this, $100 a lead, are they nuts? So the question you have to ask yourself is, starting today, maybe you were a poor advisor thinking like a poor advisor up until now, but I invite you to step into the world of abundant thinking where you think in terms of client lifetime value. If you don't do that, the rest of the pillars are completely worthless to you. All right, now that we've got reciprocity, we know the lead generation strategy we're using, and we know our CLV metrics. The next step is to build crushing authority. Now, why do I say that? Well, would you agree that we have an identity crisis in this industry? Not that we don't know who we are. Our clients don't know who we are. Our prospects can't tell us apart. This was backed up by a third-party study by the Pershing Institute recently, which showed, surveyed the top investors from magazines like Barron's, and they asked them, what do you want in an advisor? And what they wanted was an advisor who will tailor solutions to their needs, work in their interests, and are experienced investment managers. Well, the good news is that when they looked at the websites of the leading advisors, they actually are highlighting the value props that are most important to them. But the bad news is virtually all the advisors highlighted these value props, but little else. You know what's worse? 60% of investors had a hard time distinguishing between them and any other investor at all. Over half. That's terrible, right? So if I took your headshot and put it on my website, it'd probably be the same thing. Or you could put my headshot on your website. Our websites would probably be the same thing. Same thing with our LinkedIn profiles, right? So how do you achieve that super credibility? Well, most people today rely on good old time, right? If I just put in the time, right, I might win a couple of awards, I might get a couple of designations and letters behind my name, and I'll achieve this mediocre level of credibility. Maybe if I get some awards and designations, my credibility will go up. But let me ask you this, what sounds more impressive, a guy with 16 letters after his name, or an advisor who's been on Fox News, Fortune, and Fast Company? Now, you know what's interesting? Some people have worked 20 years to get only here, and then yet some, like many of our members, have been able to achieve media access in less than 3 years, some in less than 6 months, and they've basically leapfrogged into super credibility and super authority. So every interaction they have from that point onward is a higher value interaction where they have separated themselves, even if they're buying leads. Who do you want to talk to? The advisor who emails you and has a nice picture of himself and his family, and I've been doing business 20 years, or the advisor has a picture of himself and his family and says, as seen on Smart Money and Fast Company and Fortune. Which of the two advisors would you do business with, right? I'll just give an example. Here's a real advisor with a real landing page, which actually has really good copy, but we don't have time to talk about copy today. But really good copy on this page. This is his landing page. As it is, watch what happens when he's seen in the media. Do you see how much more powerful it is? Do you see that little mental switch that just happened in your brain? Watch, I'll do it again. Without media, with media. You see how just that little trigger, even if you don't like any of those outlets or you don't even read them, it's still inevitable. The billions of dollars of marketing that's been embedded in our brains since we were children kicks in, and instantly we feel, okay, this person must be more credible. Because once you have media, you've created a place for future media to now trust you more easily. Now, I know this from personal experience. I've spent well over $500,000 trying to get myself on television. hiring expensive PR firms, but there are better ways to do it. Our members have figured out how to do it. We've helped more than 237 advisors, professionals, lawyers, and doctors get on outlets like Forbes, Fortune, Oprah, Dr. Phil, Bloomberg, Conan, HuffPo, Business Insider, and many, many more. And it's amazing to see the before and after difference. Okay, so we talked about reciprocity. We discovered the principles of lead gen. We talked about CLV and metrics and getting crushing authority. The next one are profit funnels. Now, this is what I personally love a lot of. So here's why every advisor needs to have a funnel. And when I say funnel, this doesn't mean you're buying leads. That's not a funnel. Because it brands the entire experience to you personally. Remember we talked about in pillar number 2, the importance of after reciprocity, they need to feel indoctrinated by the person that's guiding them, right? So when you create a funnel for yourself, what happens is instead of people determining who you are against a sea of other vanilla advisors, you're creating an authoritative experience because you're delivering the goods. So when your prospect gets on the phone, they get on the phone or in the meeting with you a lot more pre-qualified, they're pre-indoctrinated, and these people don't haggle, they don't shop, they know that you're the person to do business with. What's also super fun about the funnel is you can tweak the entire process and get as specific as you want. There's so many tools like ask permutations, survey funnels that are out there today that you can ask people a couple of questions on the front end using a tool like Typeform and get them to identify their age, their gender, what their main concerns are with investing. And then you can tailor the content exactly like that. So if you have people who are conservative in nature, you're going to talk about how you help people invest in a conservative way, or how IULs help with conservative people, or how annuities help with conservative people. If somebody identifies as aggressive, you can position your products that they're great for aggressive people. And you know what's amazing about funnels? 98% of your competitors don't have one. Quick survey to the audience. How many of you have a funnel right now? Say yes. We have hundreds of people who signed up to this webinar and nobody has said yes. Only 2 people are working on it. Look at that. So the numbers are actually working out to more 99% don't have one. So let me give you a couple of funnels to think about. First one is the calendar funnel. Really, really simple, okay? Probably the dead simplest funnel you could have. You've got an email that goes out to joint venture partners, right? Maybe an attorney sends out an email for you. An accountant sends out an email for you. You send an email out for yourself. People go to an opt-in page to download a report. They watch a short little video, which adds more value. So the report has value. You created a short video on your phone, sitting at your desk, being a very natural person. And then the call to action in the video says, if you're interested in having a 15-minute discovery call with me, go ahead and click below and choose a time on my calendar. That calendar can be Time Trade, Calendly, Schedule Once, any one of those tools. And then they can complete us. If you want to really get really fancy, have them complete a strategy session survey form, right? Which asks them some detailed information about their goals and desires and why they should talk to you. When you get people to do that, the people who show up, you have all their information, but plus it's kind of like they've had to fight their way, to get access to you. And then of course that lead will then go to you. That's a really simple funnel example. Here's another one. Private group plus radio show funnel. Now we're getting a little fancy. Okay, getting a little fancier here, but I want to give you an example of what's possible. Before this webinar, I have a client who is one of the top advisors in Illinois, actually has his own radio show. Yet even though he has a massively successful radio show, we're building funnels together. So for example, you could start your own radio show using Blog Talk Radio. Invite people to be a guest on your show who are affluent prospects. Have them book a time, record it, and then encourage them to distribute it socially. And at the end of the show, hey, by the way, my show is sponsored by my wealth management firm. It would be silly for me to ask, would you be open to a second opinion about your finances? But you've been introduced at a preeminent level. See how powerful that is? Instead of just coming at people like, I'm a financial advisor, can I talk to you? Why don't you invite them on a show? Create a cool show. that is centered around your passions. I have another member in Florida. He's created a whole network around a show that he runs on Facebook for free, where he does incredible introductions, and people love what he's doing so much, they're hiring him, paying him $1,000 a month just to learn what he's doing based on the tactics he's learned from our members. So again, there's so many different ways you can do this. So here's a couple of ways that you can fill the funnel, right? Because if you got a great funnel, but you don't have any traffic, I'll be the first to tell you that's not going to work. So a couple of low or no cost funnel filters are blog articles that link to a report. You could do posts on LinkedIn or direct messages on LinkedIn to send a lead magnet. Facebook ads are really, really good. Search engine marketing like AdWords and Bing. You could do content marketing like Outbrain, use on-demand webinars, cold emails. You could have other people host webinars, have CPAs invite their audience to your webinar and give them a marketing fee in exchange for that if you can't share commission. You could do live seminars like the one we're doing today. That 15-minute retirement plan, here's an example entry page, really easy. You could build something like that in 20 minutes using a tool like Lead Pages. We have several people that are doing this that are having incredible success. Jeff out of St. Louis closed $350,000 in new commissions in 90 days using his LinkedIn funnel. Peter, a financial advisor in Silicon Valley, generated 100 C-suite contacts and leads using this approach. Joe out of New York, who owns a P&C agency that focuses on the C-suite and developing personal lines clients in the affluent market, has one of his reps with a backlog of 30 leads who want to do business with her because of her power at networking and creating funnels. All right, you've made it to the home stretch now. We're going to get into pillar number 6, which is scaling. Because think about it. Once you have reciprocity and you've got the lead gen and you understand your CLV, you're out buying everybody in your market and you're dominating because they're thinking in terms of limited cost per lead. They don't want to spend more than $10 to make $100. And you're saying, I'm going to come in, I'm going to spend $20, $30 to make $100. You've got that media authority. You've got those profit funnels. Now it's time to scale. And really, this is the most fun part because once you have your funnel built, it's scaling time. And if you do this right, it's the start of your lifestyle and your leverage. You handle this part wrong, it's the biggest waste of money you'll ever do in building a funnel. I'll tell you a quick story about a good friend of mine and member named Cy. When Cy started his operation in his 30s, he said, I'm going to do this whole thing virtual. So he used a simple voice over IP phone system, Grasshopper, so his employees could be anywhere in the world and still answer the phone as if they were right down the hall. He bought a standard voice over IP system for every agent at around $150 a pop. And just like that, through pacing Craigslist ads, he built a network of agent employees around the country in less than 30 days. Fast forward 18 months later, when he sold his agency, they were averaging 1,700 policy sales a month with 21 agents. The entire cost of his operations, $400 to run the whole thing. No office space, no furniture, no commuting. And because of this shift in thinking, Cy was outperforming huge brokers with $40 million worth of property and 200 agents, all because he knew how to scale. Here's a couple of nuggets that he was doing that you can model as well, and our members are doing right now. He decided to focus on pay-per-click. So what he did is he went out and bought pay-per-click ads, but instead of buying ads like Life Insurance California, that's way too expensive. He started bidding on little terms like Chula Vista Insurance or Victorville or Palo Alto Health Insurance. And by thinking of communities, he was able to get a click to his page for as low as $2 to $3 rather than $20 or $30 a click, which is kind of the going rate now, which was a 10x savings. So here's his metrics in case you wanted to know. His estimated cost per lead was 18 for health, 29 for life, and 41 for small group. But his CPA was 90 for health, 130 for life, and 200 for small group. So he was thinking in terms of how much is it going to cost me to acquire the client. Well, that's just a little example of scaling that Cy was able to use. He was able to know his numbers, he knew his metrics, and after a while he could just say, hey, look, I'm ready to pay $130 all day long, so I'm going to keep these ads running. Well, there you have it. That's the qualified prospect Parthenon. In order to generate high converting leads and generate the wealth, the time freedom, and the abundance you need to have the 6 factors. reciprocity. Make sure that people feel you are giving so much value, they are now indebted to you. Number 2, lead generation. Determine whether you want to generate your own leads and indoctrinate them, or you want to buy them. And if you want to buy them, well, you definitely have to know your metrics, which is your client lifetime value. Remember the takeaway there. Stop thinking in terms of cost per lead. Start thinking in terms of client lifetime value. You do that, you will now own your market in the next 6 months, even if you have a small budget to start off with. Once you do that, find some way to establish authority. Get with a program that knows how to do it. Hire somebody to get you some type of preeminent authority and positioning, because I'll tell you, there's no faster path to super credibility, way more than licenses, way more than titles after your name, way more than putting 10, 20, 30 years in the grind. Media authority just dominates, and we can't help it. They've spent billions of dollars putting their logos in our brains since we were kids. There's no way around it. Once you've had that authority, developing your funnel, it's properly branded, you know where the leads are coming from, you're getting people to book themselves on your calendar, then it's time to pour the gas on the fire, and that's when you scale. Well, congratulations everybody, because you now know more than 98% of insurance agents and financial advisors. So I hope that I've shown you today you can build a scalable, qualified lead generation funnel that brings pre-indoctrinated, ready to talk to prospects to your calendar every single day without having to chase people down or learn a bunch of technical stuff. Now, if you found value in this training, your next step is to join me in a new marketing club designed for professionals that sell insurance and financial services called the Shift Insurance Marketing Club. This is where you get front-of-the-line access to the latest tools, techniques, and strategies as they are discovered. So many of the member successes I've shared with you today actually learned them from the techniques inside the club. You get access to mentors and experts like me and me who give you the shortcuts. These are the proven systems and the templates to follow in the insurance world. You get access to like-minded advisors to mastermind with, templates and guides to help weed out the shiny objects, and quick hacks and techniques to get the results faster than you would on your own. So let's find out how to fill your calendar with quality introductions and meetings every month with affluent buyers. And let's work together to build your first marketing lead magnet to help generate leads on autopilot. And let me coach you in a group environment on how to create your first marketing funnel so that prospects pre-qualify themselves before they even speak with you. And then let me show you how to turn your current list into meetings. That's right, the people that you're currently connected to on LinkedIn, let me show you how to turn those people into meetings and do that this month, maybe in the next 14 days. If that sounds intriguing to you, here's what happens next. Once you enroll, you'll have instant access to all the training to help you laser target your ideal prospects, generate leads, get access to our library of white papers, playbook trainings, and Q&A. Every month from here on out, I'll release a brand new playbook training, which is an in-depth training, which gives you not only the video walkthrough, but also the action guides and the steps to take. Every day, except for weekends, because I love my wife, you have access to me through the private members area to ask any question you want. Private consulting with me normally ranges from $5,000 to $10,000 a month. However, with the price in this club, in the group, leveraging the group aspect, you can ask me questions every day. We have a private Facebook group that no one else is allowed in to network with other marketing savvy agents to support, share, and cheer you on. You can take this as fast as you want or as slow as you want. We have exclusive discounts with other tools and vendors that are used in my techniques and strategies. And of course, guides on how to scale this so that you're not spending time doing it. You can find other people to do this stuff for you and outsource it for as little as $6 an hour. These are some of the other courses that are inside the marketing club. Email marketing mastery, how to build an $80,000 a month marketing funnel. That's not the spend, that's the commissions from that funnel, $80,000 a month. LinkedIn power selling, how to build predictable referrals. Each of these courses is worth at least $997. But we're going to do a special webinar only offer because you came in through our strategic partners at Insurance WebEx. Everybody who's on our class today will get instant access for a special low one-time price. Our regular monthly fee for this club is $397 a month. And it's an incredible value because it's at least $20,000 worth of training if we were to stack everything up. However, for the first 20 people that decide they want to give it a try today, we're going to let you in for $1 for the first 30 days. $1 for the first 30 days. Then, if you decide to stick around, which I think you will, it'll just be $67 a month thereafter. You can cancel at any time. If you decide to cancel and you want to come back, you'll just come in at the $397 again, and we will still take great care of you. But because of the special promotion we're doing with Insurance WebEx, it's only $67 a month. If this is something that you want to join in at, then here's the link that you can follow. What I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to grab the link for you, and I'll paste it in the group chat so that if you're ready to get started and you want to invest the buck and kick the tires, take a look at it. And really, it's not about the dollar. Obviously, I don't show up on these calls and to make $1, because it's really just to make sure you're a real person, okay, and you're not just putting fake information in there. Because I really believe that if you would see the value of what's in this club, that you would stay for a long, long time. And that's indeed what we have our members doing. So what'll happen is if you click on that link, it's going to bring you to a page that looks like this. All right, charter membership, Insurance Marketing Club. And again, everything's there. There's no hidden fees. It's a risk-free trial, just $1 for 30 days during the special launch, and then $67 a month. You can cancel anytime. Just a fair warning, if you do cancel, you will come back at $397 a month. Okay, this is a special program. You get access to all the bonuses I talked about, the swipe files, copy and paste templates. I could just go on and on about it. So it's only $1. All you have to do is put in your first, last email information, billing address, your credit card information, and complete your purchase, or you can check out with PayPal as well. All right, and that's basically it. Other little thing I want to just be explicit out is our guarantee. So here's our guarantee. It's our 30-day use it and abuse it guarantee. Okay, I want to invite you today to dive into each detailed lesson, download all the plans, check out my checklist, show up to the calls. By the way, I'm actually doing a really cool call next week on a new technique that we discovered on LinkedIn, and that's going to be really, really cool. We're having people use it, and within 30 minutes, they're already generating appointments and yeses. I'm going to give you the script, the template, show you the person who actually did it. It's pretty cool. Anyways, so you can come to those Ask Me Anything calls, ask me all the questions you want, really max out this program at my risk. I'm going to invest in you to see success in here for a full 30 days. If for whatever reason you don't like my face, you don't like the members area, you don't like the colors of the fonts, you get a full refund period. No harm, no foul, and we can still be friends. All right. Also, the other thing I want to tell you is I'm not even going to keep the $1. Every trial today will create one new meal for a hungry family in America through our strategic partnerships. My wife and I, as you know, are really big into giving back. So I'm not even going to be keeping whatever comes in today. We're just going to be putting it right back in the community to do good for others. All right. If you like this idea and you're in, go ahead and put I'm in the question box right now, because I'd like to personally welcome you. If you are in right now, you are going to join up and try this out for $1 and get access to all of this training. Go ahead, put the word I'm in right now. Awesome. First 20 people are going to get in for just $1 today, and then they're going to lock in that $67 a month instead of the $397. Awesome. Gregory, welcome to you. Stephen B, awesome. Glad to have you in. Richard W, so good to have you in, my friend. Peter K, good to have you in. Gregory B, beautiful. I'm in, says Forrest. Good to have you in here. John says I'm in. Awesome, John. Good to have you. Ruben, awesome. So happy to have you in. Already did it, says Ray. Wow, you are fast. Bob says he is in. Cheryl says I'm already signed in. Beautiful. Benita says I'm in. Nick is in. Richard's in. Charles is in. Let's see. Andrew, can I also help with the contents? Sure. Meaning, like, if you want to ask me anything about what you're already writing, you've got some guides you need help with, post the question. Of course, I'll help you, Andrew. Scott's in, Frank's in, Kitty Gale. Ooh, I love that name. Kitty Gale McMoon. That's got to be one of the most happiest names I've ever seen. Well done, Kitty Gale. Love that. Francois in, Graham's in, Steve's in. Andrew says he's in too. Awesome, guys. Wow, I think we hit our 20. That's beautiful. I think we hit our 20, guys. So if you go and you don't see the $1 trial anymore, it means we've hit the 20 max and there's no more available. So just an FYI on that. Oh, this is really cool. Before we close out, I did a call recently and I asked everybody to just choose one word to describe the training. And this is everything that they posted in the chat, because the trainings are real, they're live, they're not fluffy, they're not theoretical. This is actionable, front of the lines. Hey guys, here's what's working now. No hype. This is the deal. So this is what people feel after they look at our training. So very good, guys. Well, look, I got another call that I got to jump on. I want to say thank you so much to all of you who have joined. I can't wait to meet you guys personally in the members area, and I hope that you guys will block out some time next week for our new we have a AMA call, which you'll get an email invite for. If you're having problems, Peter says you can't get to the page. Sorry about that, my friend. Let me send you a little email here. I'll send it to everybody. It's support@agencygrowthacademy.com. I sent that to everybody in the chat. If you guys have a problem, don't worry about it. Just send an email there. I have an amazing team. They'll get back to you, and would love to see you guys in the program. Forrest says, thank you, Jeremiah. Bonita says, hey, Bonita, good to see you out here. Forrest, good to see you. All right, you're very, very welcome, everybody. I appreciate all of you. If you're having a problem, Paul's looks like you're having an issue here. I'll copy your email address here and I'll share it with the team if you're having a decline there, okay? Also, we do have a phone number there. Let me just back up here. There's a phone number at the top of the page. If you have an issue, there's quite a few people on this call right now, but if you have an issue, just dial that number, 888-675-8529, extension 704. If you're not getting somebody live, just give them some time to get back to you and we'll take care of you. But for most people, this works just fine. If PayPal doesn't work for you, try a credit card. If the credit card didn't work, just try a different one. Again, it's just $1 today. Try it out for a whole month at my risk, and then $67 a month thereafter, and you'll save a tremendous amount off the $400 a month plan. All right. Well, thanks everybody. If you're having an issue, again, we have that email address. Just write to support@agencygrowthacademy.com. That is the email address if you're having an issue, and we just can't wait to get started with you. Thanks everybody. Appreciate you all. Have a wonderful rest of the day. Wish you incredible success. Bye for now.